Alright, before we get into the video, this is kind of a disclaimer. I'm kind of new to this shit. So as the video goes on, shit might look different, edits and shit like that. Once again, really new to this, so please take your time and bear with me as the video goes on, and enjoy the video. What's up, YouTube? I'm back at it again. This is something new, and I will be making more of this, no matter what the repercussions is. But the topic of this is endurance. Now, what do I mean by endurance? I don't mean your stamina running out and shit. What I mean is mental endurance. Now, there's a lot of people on social media nowadays who could get pretty unbearing if you don't have that mental endurance. Like, recently, I've been watching my fair share of Sneeko, Abba and Preach, and Young Don. And from all those people, I've learned endurance, or at least my version of it. Or even if it's just like, a normal definition of it in general. Like, endurance to like keep going. Example wise, let's say you get into an argument and you're getting argued down, and you're still confident in your opinion and you don't want to do it anymore. Now, giving up from that argument is the last thing you want to do, like cutting the person off, or not listening to them, or not letting them finish what they say, or just upright muting them because you don't want to hear their opinion no more. What my definition of mental endurance is how much you can take of that information before you give up. Now, before I had this thought, my mental endurance was shit. Like, it was awful. My mental endurance didn't amount to much. Like, I would put on a Sneeko video, he'll say something I don't like, and then keep saying it over and over again to the point to where I can't watch it. I'm going to this like Minecraft video or bullshit, you know what I mean? And that's the problem, really. I want people to work on their mental endurance. How much bullshit can you really take? Like, you should want to feel uncomfortable. And that sounds crazy, but dead ass. You will want to feel out your comfort zone. Comfort is the last thing anyone wants, obviously. Or it's something that people do want, but you will always want to drop it, because at the end of the day, you can't stay comfortable forever, and comfort is the biggest enemy, in my opinion, or I think that's just said in general. Now, when I say you have an endurance, you don't ever have to like agree to a person. You just listen. Now, a great way to have mental endurance, or to know if you have good mental endurance or not, is through conversation, obviously. Like, find someone you really disagree with, and then get into a civil discourse with them. As that civil discourse is happening, you will hit a point to where you feel like just not listening to them more. And instead of just doing your typical thing and like muting them and shit, keep listening them out. Like, keep hearing them. Because one, if you just back out of that shit, mute them and all that bullshit, you're letting them win. They won the argument regardless on how you feel or what you said. Like, you lost. They had the last word regardless. That, and you will never get to the center of the problem if you don't hear them out. You have to have endurance for these kind of things. Example, the friend group I'm in, I get into arguments or civil discourses with these niggas all the time. And fucking there's this one argument, because once again, I'm 7 fucking team. We don't talk about serious topics all the time like that. But the argument was, if like the argument that I failed in was an argument between that Borderlands pre-sequel was a unfinished game to the point where it could have been released as DLC. I disagreed and said, well, no, we have new types of weapons, a new world, a completely different cast of characters when it comes to picking through, and bosses and all that shit, plus DLC. And his argument was, look at Destiny 2 Forsaken, where, you know, we had a new weapon type and a new zone, but the point between that argument was the fact that in Destiny 2, the Forsaken DLC was obviously, what's it called? It was obviously added on to the game, as that zone was not just a zone by itself, but had the previous zones from the previous base game on that. Now, pre-sequel don't have old zones from its old games or from its predecessor to be called a DLC. But sadly, as the argument was going on, I was getting more irritated with him, to the point to where I just upright muted him. And even though I was right in that argument 100%, I still lost that because I was just too hell-bent on being right. Or not even too hell-bent on being right. I was just so confident that I was right, to the point to where the other person's opinion just didn't matter to me at that point. And that's not a good thing. Now, we're going to fast forward to a recent argument I had with my niggas. It was an argument about DC, or what's it called? Endgame being like, what's it called? Endgame having no villain until like the end. I was like, well, I mean, it's a part 2. Like, they just got out the villain and they're about to fix the mistakes of the villain for the same villain to come back and yada yada yada. And you know, I'm not gonna explain the entire argument, but it ended with me agreeing with the other side. Now, I don't say you always have to agree, or it has to end with you submitting to the other person's argument, but to listen to them wouldn't kill you. Like, he brung up good points, and so have I. To the point where, like, you know, he has a point here. I don't fully agree, but I understand what you're saying. And that's what's lacking in 2022. Understanding. Like, if you can just understand a person and understand where they're coming from, you can go a long way. There's certain instances, yes, where you can't understand a person. Like, I could pull up to a racist nigga and I probably wouldn't be able to understand them. Like, their point on, like, why do you hate me and why do you hate every other minority? But because of the endurance testing I've been putting myself through, I can listen to their bullshit for a long time. A extremely long time. And that's what I want people to work on. You don't gotta agree with them, you don't gotta understand them, but you do have to have that mental endurance to keep listening no matter what. Shit can get crazy, they could say some crazy things, but it's really a look on you. It's all about you when it comes to shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, cause at the end of the day, like, there's too much arguing nowadays, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different opinions, and people want their shit vocalized to the point where it gets loud. Really, really loud. And once again, that's fine. So the first part of this is me talking about mental endurance. This is definitely a three-parter, and I just want everyone to know this is kind of like, I guess, a mini podcast in some saying. You know what I mean? I really come here on YouTube to just talk. Really, I don't have no talent to the point to where like I'm posting I'm posting extreme awesome gaming montage or fucking, me being goated at something. It's mostly me talking and trying to bring a chill vibe to this platform, or to my channel at least. My goal is never to be good at anything really, but the goal to give a chill space for you to sit down while you're drinking your cup of coffee, tea, water, smoking a blunt, cigarette, vape, while just listening to me talk about random things in my life. Or shit, sometimes I won't even be talking and you'll just be listening to the chill music in the background with some gameplay, if that's your forte. And it's not everyone's forte, you know what I mean? And that's understandable. I would eventually be branching out to other sources of content. I'll be eventually branching out to other sources of content with other people. But when it comes to this channel and this channel alone, it's really just a talking channel. Just to get opinions out, because they need to be put out, to be honest with you. Since everyone else is putting theirs out, why not I chip mine's in? You know what I mean? And that's what this channel is for. This video is going to get like timestamped. It's going to get split into like 3 parts. And this part right now, I'm just talking about what I do or why I do it, because there's a lot of anger and debating going on right now. I understand a lot of people right now is watching Sneeko vids or Young Don vids once again, and they're kind of sucking their mindset in to the point to where people are starting to become little versions of them, and people are forgetting the uniqueness of being your own person, which is my problem right now, at least. You know what I mean? Example, real quick. I don't even need an example. I told you an example, but like that's what I really mean. You know what I mean? It's always about self-improvement. Either it's money-wise, mentally-wise, physically-wise. Improving every day is the goal. No matter if it's a small improvement, a big improvement, or a medium improvement. I want to stop the degrading. You don't have to degrade yourself for other people to be cool. You don't have to... you don't even have to cockily upgrade yourself for other people either. You should be fine with who you are. Don't develop other personalities. Be okay with the person you are now. Like, you don't need a nigga like me or Sneeko or Don or Abba to tell you how to be. Be yourself. And it's crazy that I have to hammer on that ideology in 2022. Be yourself, but don't be a dick while being yourself. Because like, no one likes an asshole. And if you want to be a villain, be a villain. You know what I mean? But at least make that shit known from the beginning. Fake people is at a all-time high in 2022, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see. I could say the friends I have now, or could fall in that category. I think last video I had a story telling about this one guy named Jesse, the guy I was into. You know what I mean? I was led on by bro without knowing that he's pretty fake. And this that's probably just him. There's nothing he could probably do about it. We're probably at the too late point. You know what I mean? But if you're watching this and listening to this, it's not too late for you type shit. You know what I mean? Like, always be true and make it known immediately. Don't be afraid to say what's on your mind. Censorship and all that shit exists and all. And, there's obviously things you can't say, like slurs and shit. But when it comes to opinions, takes, say that. But also get ready for the criticism that will be behind it, which that's understandable. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? Not an argument. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to have a debate. I would like to have a nice conversation. And that's really the ending of the first part, kind of. I'll give you a little story, or tell you who I am as a person. Hello, my name is Blue. You know what I mean? I would give real name, but nah. I'm Blue. I am a comedian slash goofy nigga at heart. A guy who tries his hardest to be understanding to whatever point or person it is. The only exception I have there is for, niggas like pedophiles and shit like that. I can't understand degrees of that extent. But anything below that, I could, no matter what, understand, talk, or have a conversation with. Because, for a decent amount of friends I have maybe one that is extremely racist. He denies that he is, but he is. He is very racist. And it's like, the racist jokes or, being really wild can get unbearable. But it's nothing wrong with taking a break from those kind of people also. You know what I mean? We gotta normalize breaks too. Because a break is something that everyone needs once in a while. Like, there's only so much debating you can do. There's only so many Sneeko videos you can watch. You know what I mean? There's only so many Young Dawn videos you can watch. So do that. But back to the topic of who I am. I would like to think of myself as a chill, somewhat funny individual, because at the end of the day, like, you had, like, there's so much shit that happened to the point where you just gotta let it roll off your back, really. That don't mean let niggas step on you, but don't let shit get to you. And that's really hard for people to do. You know what I mean? It's a skill you gotta kind of obtain, which is understandable. You know what I mean? It's gonna take a while for you to obtain that skill. But I like to say, after all this time, I think I have a grasp or a good expert knowledge on how to stay calm when it comes to situations like that. Now, this next topic about me is gonna get a little graphic. You know what I mean? So if you're a little bit younger, I suggest you don't click off or listen to this part, you know what I mean? But sexually, I am not a dominant person. Or I'm not a completely dominant person. I'm dominant, but I guess I am a little bit in the middle. a little jagged in the middle. And once again, that's fine. That's cool. But I just need niggas to know that I am no, because you know my skin color and all that bullshit, I'm not no sex god. You know what I mean? I'm a normal human being with the experiences I have. I have my preferences, like sexual preference. I would prefer not to fuck during the day. I am more of a night kind of guy. It's the vibe of doing it at night that I would enjoy it more. And, you know, once again, I would like to think of that as pretty normal. If not, you know, say it's not, and I'll argue otherwise. Or not even argue, but have a conversation otherwise. You know what I mean? And that's really the points I like to hammer on. It's like, it's been said a lot lately, but I don't think it's been hammered down to the points where like you gotta focus on yourself. Like really focus on yourself. To the point where if you ever get to the point where you feel like you're out of options, pick up a hobby, a random hobby, any random hobby. Like video making right now. This is my new hobby as of right now. And it's not a new hobby because I've had this hobby for the longest. I'm just now really getting back into it because another point from, you know, the niggas I be watching, I've been shown that I'm the one who put myself in depression. And before we even go into that, depression do come in two ways. It comes from something that has happened to you at a young age, or something that's really traumatizing, and it comes from you, really. Now, when something bad happens to you, what do? You lay down, mope all the time, feel like you're out of options, start doing drugs. Then, well, the reason you have depression is your fault. If you're depressed or if you're sad and the first thing you do is get to work and start grinding immediately, and you still feel that depression feeling while doing it, then it might be something else. But recently, a lot more recently, your depression stems from you as a person, you as in yourself. You like the fact that you're letting it get to you is your fault, really. Because at the end of the day, sadly, nobody gives a fuck about your problems, which is heartbreaking. I know, extremely heartbreaking, but that's something you just gotta get over it. You know what I mean? It's a challenge. Every day is a challenge. It's a new level of bullshit, really. And as people, we have to deal with that new level of bullshit, which we should all be able to do it. But apparently, as the videos I watch from, once again, Sneeko, Young Don, Abba, and Preach, people are not, they're letting shit get under their skin a lot. Like, example, there was this like one video I watched from Sneeko, or I couldn't even watch it all the way because it was genuinely painful. This guy was in front of like some social building, like doing this little social experiment, and like you see these ladies from the top of the roof throwing up their middle fingers, mad that bro is just calmly and passively giving his opinion out. And you know, they come down and they start harassing bro, literally harassing bro. I'm sorry, but that's what it was. And that's just, it's not right. Not right at all. Now, before I even go any further on like that take, it's like I am not a red pillar, a God pillar, a black pillar, a blue pillar. I'm me, my nigga. I am me. I react on however I react. Like I don't follow no one's ideology because my own ideology, my own philosophy is my philosophy, my nigga. Is whatever I get from my experiences is the philosophy that I'll keep growing on. Don't unless you're a person of God, which I don't care. You know, you could be religious and follow your religious standpoint, and I'll be fine with that. But when it comes to you as a person, what is your morals, really? Because that's what, you know, mostly the shit like that is. It's like, what is your morals like? That's really what these pills are. Just bending the morals. Like, you know, the blue pill is trying to, you know, go towards the morals of, you know, women are the same, feminism, yada yada yada. While red pill really hammers on the morals of, you know, women are beneath, yada yada yada. While God pills is also like we're all the same, but God is better, yada yada yada. Which, fine, you know what I mean? It's cool. But where I stand is, it's me and I'm my own person, and I'm not gonna let anyone who hasn't been in my shoes try to shift my ideology, my philosophy. Alright? Treat niggas the way you want to be treated. And this is like fucking what's it called? This is like the golden rule that they used to teach back in schools. I don't think they teach it anymore in elementary and shit like that. But I've remembered that shit to this day. Because you're supposed to, obviously. It's common. It should be common sense. I would like to think of myself as a expert in common sense, because apparently, looking around nowadays, not that many people have that common sense factor. Like do better type shit, you know what I mean? Like it's not rocket science. And that's mostly the problem that I have with the day and age. Niggas are forgetting that most of the shit that these people are talking about, it's not rocket science. It's not hard to put the pieces together. Like it's not hard to look at the world and be like, it's round or some shit. Like, you know, the world's flat. Shit. I don't like getting into it, but we can obviously say that it's round, right? And, you know, if you say it's flat, I'm not dissing on flat earthers, but in my opinion, it's round. And my common sense is that I've been shown that it was round when motherfucker walked on the moon. And if not, you know, if NASA's lying to us, they're lying to us. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that if I get the information of, I'm gonna be fucking heartbroken over. Like, no. That's not the case. It's the fact that if that happens, I'll be like, oh. And that's like my same stance on religion. Like, I'm not fully into God, but my family's religious to the point, and the people I watch is somewhat religious to the point to where I like, yeah, I understand. I do sorta kinda accept God as my Lord and Savior, and I know that I can't say sorta kinda for shit like that. I gotta be yes or no, and that's a problem with myself. And it's the fact that at least I can admit it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people nowadays that can't admit the problem with themselves. They're too hell-bent on being right or thinking that they're perfect. Another quote from Sneeko: a lot of people think that they're 10s, not just women. It goes for niggas also. A lot of people think that they're 10s, and a lot of people need humbling when it comes to shit like that. You're not perfect, and you probably will never will be, and that's fine. I'm not gonna say be okay with mediocrity, but be okay with not being perfect. You can be the best version of yourself if you try hard enough, and that's your goal. You want to be the best version of yourself. You don't want to submit to fucking being an idiot or anything like that. You don't want to stay plain and boring forever. You don't want to stay one-landed and basic forever. You want to move out and experience shit. Experience life. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna really stop this point here and end it with, yeah, the world's a fucked up place right now. And it's getting even more fucked up. But what I want you to do is to not get fucked up with it and enjoy it. Alright? Even though it might feel hard, might look hard, enjoy what you got. Because, bro, we might not have it for long. And once again, I'm fine with that. I want you to learn how to be content with the shit you got in your life. Don't be satisfied. Don't be comfortable with it. Be content to the point to where, yeah, I know it's there, but I will still work for a better position. And I think that right there is what makes greatness. You know what I mean? Niggas are not dwelling on what they have or being overly comfortable with what they have, but they're in the middle. And I think that's what you really want. Being in the middle seems like a great spot to be in. Like, you will still have that ambition to do shit, but then you don't get over ambitious and do something that you probably can't do. Like, I want money, right? Now, I don't like 9-to-5s to the point where I'm probably not working a 9-to-5. I'm down to do little small side jobs like a dishwasher, a janitor, but store clerk or fucking nigga at the office all day, that's not for me. YouTube, streaming, talking to people, really odd jobs like shit, even wrestling, I can do. But that's a personal thing, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's all fine. So once again, back to the ending statement of this. Endurance. Mental endurance. Try to endure as much disagreement as you can. Common sense. Start using your head more and know what's common sense to yourself. And obviously, last but not least, don't take shit to heart all the time. It's never that deep. It never will be that deep. And if you do all that, you will live fine in this world. Without problems, without anger, without any of that. You'll be okay. And if you don't, you could comment under the video and start like trash talking or some shit. But I promise you, you'll be fine. And with that being said, please have a nice day.